The story begins with Twilight, a high-level spy working for the Westalis intelligence agency, short for WISE, predicting an impending war. WISE tasks their best agent, which is Twilight, to stop the war before it happens, and to do this he must get close to Donovan Desmond, the head of the National Union Party of Ostania, their neighboring country, and thanks to Desmond's reclusive nature, as he is never seen in public, his only social appearances are in a private academy for elites his two sons attend. So in order to complete the mission, Twilight must get married, have a child, and enroll him or her into this academy, all in less than 7 days. Twilight makes haste to complete the first step of the mission, which is to acquire a child under the fake identity of Lloyd Forger, who is a psychiatrist. He goes to an orphanage in order to adopt a smart child. The housekeeper takes him to see Anya, who is secretly telepathic. She then demonstrates her abilities by reading Twilight's mind to complete an advanced crossword puzzle. Unaware of her powers, Twilight is impressed by her intelligence and takes her home. Fixated on completing the mission, he tries to get to know her, but every time it backfires horribly, as she always keeps misreading his mind until he starts thinking of replacing her. Reading this, she starts crying and making a scene, forcing Twilight to bribe her with peanuts, which are her favorite food. Later that day, Twilight was trying to leave the house to rendezvous with his agent, but Anya kept pestering him, thinking that they will go on a spy adventure together. He ends up locking her inside the house using a crate. Bored, Anya manages to find Twilight's spy equipment and accidentally reveals their location by sending a transmission to Edgar, a minister in Ostania. As a result of this, she gets kidnapped. After returning home, Twilight is ambushed by Edgar's men but manages to fight them off just before getting taken out by a surprise attack. At Edgar's warehouse, Twilight manages to rescue Anya by tricking Edgar's men, by using his specialized abilities. He then points her towards the nearest police station, stating that dragging a child into this was a mistake and that the only reason he became a spy is to prevent children from crying about conflicts or wars just like he used to. Twilight then turns around and goes to confront Edgar about his men, successfully taking them out, then subduing Edgar by blackmailing him using his daughter. After he finished, Twilight gets out of the building and was surprised to see Anya still waiting for him, revealing that she read his mind and was impressed by his heroism. She then calls him Papa for the first time. The next day, after receiving a copy of the entrance exam, Twilight comes back home to try to tutor Anya, but she refuses to study. Flashbacks show that Anya was the result of an experiment done by an unknown organization who would treat her as a tool until one day she managed to escape, ending up as an orphan. As a result of her powers, she was adopted 4 times with no success. Although Twilight doesn't know about her powers, he knows about the being adopted for 4 times. At night, Twilight starts doing research on how to go about interacting with children. He then admits that parents have illogical creatures. On the day of the entrance exam, Anya at first tries to rely on her powers, but she quickly finds out that everyone is struggling badly with the exam. But thanks to Twilight's tutoring, she manages to pass the entrance exam. Seeing her name on the school board, Twilight relaxes for a second just before collapsing from exhaustion. While on the ground, he reprimands himself for dropping his guard, stating that it was his first time ever doing so. In preparation for the school interview, which requires both parents to be present, Twilight at first tries to get his agent to play that role, but they quickly give up on that plan as he is too ugly. Moments later, Scruffy Guy presents Twilight with documents for all single women in the city. He then points out that Anya does not fit the part of a rich and elegant looking child and that he has to do something about it. Twilight then takes Anya to the tailor to buy some new clothes, where then he first meets Yor, commenting that he didn't even notice her enter. It is then revealed that she is an S-ranked assassin who not only promised her little brother, but all of her co-workers that she will bring her boyfriend to a get-together that weekend, to get out of an uncomfortable conversation and to cover for herself as single woman above 27 in the country seems very suspicious. Anyways, Lloyd remembers her from the documents, although he doesn't know that she's an assassin. Yor gets annoyed at the fact that he is staring at her, to which he responds that she is just too pretty, making her blush. She then jumps at the opportunity to secure a boyfriend for the party, but quickly backs off after seeing Anya, stating that a lot of people die because of love affairs and that she doesn't want things to get bloody. Starved for entertainment, Anya becomes flabbergasted at the thought of having an assassin mommy. She then unsuspiciously starts saying that she doesn't have a mommy and says that she wants one, giving Twilight the opportunity to tell her that his wife has died years ago and that he's a single father. After a short conversation, Yor flat out asked Twilight to pretend to be your boyfriend at the upcoming party, and in return Twilight asks her to pretend to be his wife at the upcoming school interview, stating that he only wants what's best for his daughter. Impressing Yor at the day of the party, Twilight is tasked with a submission of retrieving some stolen arts and jewelry, so him accompanied by a scruffy dude successfully managed to retrieve the stolen stuff. After a long hefty fight, Twilight then steals a ring from the loot to give to Yor, stating that it is for the mission. Back to Yor, who got tired of waiting for Twilight. She reluctantly went to the party without him, stating that maintaining neutral relations with a coworker is necessary. She then hesitantly tells them that their boyfriend had to work with things coming up and couldn't make it in time. Of course, all of her female coworkers start making fun of her lying about having a boyfriend, but suddenly Twilight bursts through the door covered in blood, then greets everyone as Yor's husband, shocking her, as they only agreed on him being a boyfriend. He then apologizes for being late as one of the clients had an outburst and injured him. Yor is shocked to see him actually showing up and thought he was just some kind of player. Jealous of Yor's hot successful boyfriend, one of Yor's coworkers attempts to humiliate her by spilling a plate on her, but thanks to her excellent martial arts skill she easily catches it. Frustrated by this, she then hints to everyone that Yor used to be a prostitute, as she was always getting calls from clients that wanted massages at hotels. Hearing this, Twilight defends her by saying that Yor grew up without parents and she had to do everything she could to provide for her little brother. Even though the massage calls are just code names for assassination calls, Yor was very much impressed by his kind and understanding nature. Since he already told everyone that they were married, Yor asks him to marry her for real, as it will benefit them both. Now legally married, Yor moves in with Lloyd and Anya. Anya wastes no time in showing Yor around the house, and after some tea, Twilight tests them both using a mock interview of the entrance interview, which they astronomically fail at. Twilight is disappointed at this, but still determined to succeed. He takes them out to live a day just like the elites do. While out, they visit a variety of monuments, a 5-star restaurant, and finally a fancy park. Yor comments that she usually comes here when work beats her down, but suddenly they spot a thief robbing an old woman. Yor immediately chases after him, but with no success, but thanks to Anya's powers they manage to spot and catch him. After returning the purse, the old woman thanks them for their help and remarks that they make a wonderful family. Twilight takes the opportunity to thank Yor for her support, to which Anya calls them out for flirting with each other. That night Lloyd conducts another mock interview with better results and reassures himself that if it can make the old woman think that they're a family, then the mission still has a chance. The next day the Forger family enters the school grounds in order to take the interview test. While walking, Twilight and Yor both feel watched, stating that the interview has already started and that it's not only them but everyone is being watched and evaluated by a set of examiners, and to pass their evaluations they pay respect to the founder of the school statue, which infatuated one of the headmasters of the school named Henderson. Soon after they come across a kid stuck in a gutter begging for help. No one wanted to help him as it will dirty their clothes, but the Forger family simply helped him out even if he sullied their clothes. Seeing this, the headmaster is disappointed and swiftly orders his peers to disqualify them, but is then shocked to see that they've brought another set of clothes. Becoming even more infatuated moments later, a herd of animals comes rushing through the school. Twilight is pissed off that they've taken the test too far, and so is the headmaster, but in reality this is an actual emergency. As chaos ensues, the Forger family stays calm and collected. Twilight considers using his gun, but thankfully Jor swoops in and knocks off the alpha of the horde, shocking her family and scaring the animals away. Reading the cow's mind, Anya moves closer to it and starts comforting it. The headmaster hurries down and thanks the Forger family for their assistance, stating that for the time being the test has been delayed because of what just happened and that they're free to go change and come back. But to his surprise they brought a third set of clothes. At the waiting room, Twilight is stressed out, stating that he's infiltrated a terrorist group, stopped the nuclear missile from launching, but he has never been this stressed out before, as relying on civilians is truly terrifying. At the interview room they're greeted by 3 headmasters of the school who start asking Anya the usual questions, such as what do you do on your free days and why do you want to join Eden, which they're prepared for. Anya then gets asked about her family. At first she answered that she loves her new mommy so much that she rates them both 100 out of 100, but the middle fat one, who is secretly jealous of how loving they are because recently he got divorced, starts sabotaging her, asking her whether she prefers her old mommy or her new one, making her cry because her past is still unknown to Twilight. At this point Twilight is pissed off but is desperate desperately trying to contain his anger. He's also confused by his anchor as this family is only a pretend family and he shouldn't care. Just as Jorah was preparing to take the man's life, Twilight jumps in and smashed the table to pieces, scaring the hell out of the fat guy. As they're leaving, Twilight reprimands Henderson, saying that he wanted the best education for his daughter, but if this is how they're going to do things at this school, then maybe he must have picked the wrong institution. After the family leaves, Henderson punches the fat guy, stating that he tarnished the reputation of their great school. At home, the family is destroyed after what happened. Anya starts apologizing for failing the test, stating that she ruined his mission. Everyone then starts thinking that their pretend family is over, but all them can't help but be sad, until they all agree to leave the rest of the luck to Yor and Anya's reassurance. Despite failing the interview, Anya is first on the waiting list thanks to Henderson's intervention and is accepted into Eden Academy. 3 days later, while celebrating Anya's acceptance with Frankie, a drunken Frankie spurs Anya into requesting Lloyd to reenact a rescue scene from her favorite cartoon Spy Wars as a reward. To satisfy her demands, Lloyd uses Wise's resources to rent a castle and drafts his fellow agents in a reenactment game. After passing through all obstacles and having to fight with a drunken Yor, Lloyd rescues Anya, with Anya promising to do her best at school for Lloyd's sake. Wise's second phase of Operation Strix involves making Anya an Imperial Scholar to infiltrate the school's gathering and reach Donovan. To do so, Anya must earn 8 Stella stars while avoiding receiving 8 Tonitrus bolts, which is an equivalent to an expulsion. While at the tailor shop, the manager warns the family about the dangerous classist ideology in the school, stating that poor students often get relentlessly bullied, and on top of that, Eden students often get kidnapped for ransoms. Later that day at the grocery store, Anya gets kidnapped by a bunch of thugs who thought Yor was her personal maid, but after tasting her fists they come to know that she is definitely her mom, and for her safety Yor agrees to teach Anya self-defense, making Twilight very anxious. On entrance ceremony day, Lloyd secretly arranges for Anya to be in the same class as Damien Desmond, Donovan's second son, has an alternative plan to make her befriend him. However, during the school tour, Anya makes friends with Becky Blackbell, daughter of the CEO of Blackbell Heavy Industries, a major military manufacturer. But things didn't go as planned with Damien, as Anya hates him for being an arrogant little brat, and while on the school tour and under constant bullying from Damien, Anya finally snaps and punches Damien, sending him flying. Henderson confronts her about this, and at first she said that he happened to walk past her while she was stretching her hands, but then remembered what her mom said about using violence only in self-defense or to protect people, so she answered that Damien stepped on her friend and she got angry and punched him, thinking that she stayed silent when she was getting bullied but retaliated when her friend was made. Henderson impressed by her fake elegance, but this earned Anya a Tinitrus bolt and sours her relationship with Damien, spoiling both of Lloyd's plans. If you've enjoyed this so far, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Part 2 will come out soon.